and gentlemen, you're now tuned
And we are
into
live.
Naughty or Nice. Let's go.
Me don't want no fake love, me only want the real deal. Me don't want no fake love, me only want the real deal. Me don't want no fake love, me only want the real deal. Me don't want no fake love, me only want the real deal.
Have you ever met a sister with her shit together? Maintaining, never complaining, trying to make shit better. She's got a real good life with the right frame of mind. She's the real deal, baby, and she know how to grind. On the job or in the bedroom, baby, the truth. And with her by your side, homeboy, you can't lose. Just slip on the dress and go to work like a pro. Then bring that ass home and drop it down to the floor. Educated, sophisticated, conversation so deep. She's a lady in that world, but a freak in the sheets. Educated, sophisticated, conversation so deep. She's the lady in that world, but a freak in the sheets.
Shelly light and be lovebird.
Shelly light and be lovebird.
Shelly light and be lovebird. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
Shelly light and be lovebird.
Shelly light and be lovebird.
Shelly light and be lovebird.
Hey, Facebook. Happy Monday. Hey, y'all.
Hope y'all are having a fab.
Come on in. Let's get this party started.
Hope you guys are having a fantabulous Monday.
Girl, you look like you're naked. You got clothes on?
Nope.
I see shoulders. Like I see just shoulders. What's going on here?
Head, nope.
Vondolin. Look, Vondolin.
Nothing but my head. Hey, Jess.
Hey,
No, I
Jen.
got on clothes. I got on clothes.
Where did your dress go? We are not doing this. I thought you were naked, girl. I'm like, wait a minute. Where did the camera drops?
I will not do that. Hi,
She goes-
Jerry.
So, Vondolin, please say thy topic for the evening.
The topic is, would you continue to date someone who is a pedophile or a sex offender? Is today's topic. I'm going to let you start with that.
Well, okay, so terrible topic. But what if you didn't know from the beginning and then you was already like a year in and then you found out?
Time to go. Well, I need an explanation. And then if I knew, I'm going to do some investigating first. But if I knew, there's no way I could do that because I got daughters, I got a lot of little nieces, little nephews, and all that shit. And if one of them come back and tell me that something happened that shouldn't have happened, it's going to be a real problem.
Right.
For real.
So if you already moved in, you didn't know. But you know when you got there after the fact, then what do you do?
Well, it's time to pack up your shit and slide back on out the door. Okay, and I'm gonna say this now. For now, pedophilia is something totally different from being a sex offender, like because if you're looking at somebody that's labeled as a sex offender, it could be at one of those things where he was 17 and she was 15. You know what I'm saying? In those cases, you give somebody the opportunity to explain themselves. But when it comes to indecent liberties with a child or a minor and all that type of shit, that's a negative. That's a no-go from the gate. I don't care if I've been with you however long and I find that shit out and you didn't tell me. Evidently, you didn't tell me for a reason.
For a
What was
reason.
the reason for not telling me? So at that point, it's time to go. I'm not going to stick around for that. Period.
That's better. That's
Let's do a
better. Hey,
sick-ass
Kevin. Hey,
person.
Vincent. Hey, all the people that I can't see the names on the side. Yeah, that's better.
Jerry,
Because
Hamada,
Hamada. I don't know who
Dean,
Hamada is. She's new.
and Kevin.
Hi,
Hey, Kevin. But no, that's a no because like some guys can be 18 and granted, a lot of girls, they look so much mature and have lied about their ages and get these guys in trouble. That's totally different. You know what I'm saying? And then he's labeled as, a sex offender. But I'm talking about these dudes that's out here just blatantly messing with little kids and shit. And then you
mean like 12, 13, 5, 6, 7.
Yeah,
that's pretty nasty.
A
That's a
damn
different story.
pedophile is
But
what
there
I'm
are
saying,
some
man.
people.
A woman who like little kids. No, that's negative.
There
I don't
are
give a
some
damn
people
what
that are
it is.
falsely accused of being pedophile. What about the
We
ones
ain't
that
talking
are
about the
really?
ones that's falsely accused. We talk about the ones that we bona fide know is a sex offender. We ain't talking about no assumption
Okay,
or none of that shit. We talk about the ones that we know
that we
without a
know.
shadow of a doubt be messing with little
Oh,
kids. Don't
I
try
don't
to
know
clean
how.
the shit up because you
Look, I don't
can't.
know how some minds do it. I can't wrap my head around it,
So
but
would
it
you
happens. What I would?
date a man and you knew he was a pedophile?
Oh no, I couldn't do it. I'd be always worried about my children.
So what if
Like,
you was all in and then you found out?
like you said, it would be different if I didn't like if it was like young kids. Like, what if the person messed with somebody that was like 17 and they was 39
Okay, let
ish?
me flip it. Say that you knew about it, but you didn't tell none of your friends. And then one of your friends or some of your friends Google the person and be like, girl, I found out XYZ about your man or whatever. And then you sit there and say, well, that was in his past. Because you have women say, well, that was in his past. He's not like that anymore.
Yeah.
Now, for me,
Hmm.
one of my friends
Hmm.
tell me that, I'm going to dig and investigate for myself. And once I see that, Bennett, I got 2 daughters, a lot of nieces, a lot of nephews, is little. It's a
Hmm.
no-go. You're not going to no
It,
family
it,
function, no nothing, no more. It's a wrap for me.
I'll
That's
tell
just
you
me
what though.
personally.
You're always like wondering. I mean, you think about it. You can date somebody who never has done it like that to a kid before, never even thought about it. And then their minds be sick, sick in another angle somewhere. And they might look, glance, be like, oh yeah, she got a nice little shape. Yep. There's some men that seek out little girls till they get older, and then they marry them when they're older. Is that the
That's
same?
it too. Russell Simmons did that. Woody Allen did that. That's sickening.
Yeah. So
I
people
don't give a
do
damn.
stuff like
Because
that
at
for
that
real.
because at that point you're looking at that little girl in a way you shouldn't be looking at her anyway.
So what's
To
the
me.
difference with an older man? Let's say a guy that's 51
Okay.
and he's messing with a girl that's 18, 19.
She's not a child anymore. I mean, granted, he's too old for her, but still, but women, you have to realize, even at 18 or 19, are much more mature than a whole lot of men in their 20s or 30s because women just mature faster. But at that point, she's legal. She has, she can make her own decisions, whether they're completely informed or not. But there's, avenues of people I'm sure she could talk to and be like, listen, but to me, in some cases, not all of them, but in some, if you a man that old, you still shouldn't be looking at a girl that young. That's just me. You know what I'm saying? Now I could see 10 years, 15 years, something like that. But if you like 50, 55 or whatever, like Marcus Houston just married what's his name? The super producer that produced them. He just married his daughter. She 18 and Marcus is almost 50.
You
Just
say he
like
married his daughter.
yeah, he married Chris Stokes' daughter. Yeah, she's
Oh,
18.
Christos. Okay, okay.
Yeah, he
So
married Chris Stokes' daughter. She just turned 18. As soon as she turned 18, he married her. So he been
do you
watching
think
her and he been waiting on her.
do you think somebody that young really knows what they want at 18 and 19?
At that age, I knew what I wanted. I just didn't get it, but I knew what I wanted.
But like, I think to me, if somebody marries somebody that age, I think they're looking for a father.
I wouldn't marry a man at that age if I was 18 because the differences, like you got to think, like when you go somewhere, you ain't even old enough to buy alcohol. Just barely
Exactly.
made it to buy cigarettes. Like it's just certain shit you just
And I
gotta
mean,
look
and
at.
then
You
that
gotta be
guy
like,
is he's so much mature than she is. So everything that he done
yeah.
seen life, and here she goes in her life, and her life now becomes old because his life is old.
No, it depends on his personality and what he is too now. Because some men could take you, like, because I've always dated older men, always. And so it's just like, for me, it was the excitement of it all. Like, they could show you things that you haven't seen, expose you to different shit. And, and then if you did get with somebody that's like your age or in your age group, you kind of know what you want because he's shown you things that you necessarily wouldn't see with a man your age or a younger guy. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Sophia. She said, oh, hell no. I'll check y'all next show. I just refuse to talk about this. My belly turns. Yeah, but it
I
happens.
understand, girl. It's stuff that happens. You know, you got to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yeah, for real. I mean, because at that point, it's just like I was saying, I got off track, but a man could show you so many different things. This is like when you talk to younger guys as dated older women or cougars,
Mhm.
so to speak. She teaches him how to treat a woman, how to be with a woman, how to do the things that he should do, and as far as you know talking to her, communicating with her, like all types of shit a woman can teach a man too. But I'm talking about the ones when you like really, really don't like pedophilia, sex offenders. If you know a man sexually assaulted somebody, like raped her or brutally done, just brutal, blah, I can't even talk brutal shit to her. And then you find out about it. Because in my mind, I'm gonna be thinking, shit, if he did this to somebody else, as much
What do you
shit as I
consider me?
thought, what if he decide he want to do this, try me or try one of my daughters or try one of my nieces? You know what I'm saying? Like my mind just goes into a whole
Because it
different
gets
thing.
to running. Yeah, I
Yeah,
get
but
what you're
you have
saying.
people, but you have some friends that if you say like, what do you think? They get mad at you for that. And then they think you're being judgmental. But my thing is you got to look at the big picture. You got to think about the people that you love and the ones that have children, the ones your kids or
Right.
whatever the case may be. This is not about you and him at that point. You don't know. It's like if I leave, can I leave him here with somebody?
With
You know
my
what I'm
kid,
saying?
right, without
Is he
something
gonna stick
happening.
or is he gonna try them or is he gonna, you know what I'm saying? Nah, bro, I can't do that.
But do you think people like that can change?
You done did what you did, then I don't care if you change or not. You're not gonna be changing with me because I'm not gonna be with you like that. I'm just keeping it real.
It's
I'm
just
not gonna
like
do that.
no.
Mm-mm.
Well,
Anybody can
I
change, but I'm just saying you did it. What made you feel like it was okay for you to go
okay
ahead
to
and harm
do
a
it.
child
Right, 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 right.
or
What
touch
made
a
it
child
okay?
inappropriately? No, that's just not acceptable
Yeah.
in any shape or form to me. But that's just my opinion. You can
But then
agree. We can agree to
they
disagree.
carry the scar forever. You know, once you're like have that title, you got to put it in your yard. You got to notify the whole neighborhood when you move in. You can't be within feet of a school. It's all kinds of stuff that comes
Mm-hmm.
with that. So if you do get with somebody like that, your life now becomes prison because you're living in the prison with them.
And not only that, there's levels to that shit. They have different names for like repeat offenders. They have, names that people have to, label a lifetime and certain things they can't do. You can't live in a school zone. You can't go nowhere where kids is at. You can't do this. You can't do that. Like
Right.
you're limited at that point unless they just don't follow the rules or don't tell you. But a lot of
But
people know it and they still
but a
rock
lot of
with
people
these.
already know. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people know it. I'm just saying I ain't one of those people. I'm not built like that because this is like even me as a single mother. I've never bought dudes around my girls. Like that. I ain't never played
Yeah.
that shit. I just know
It's
if they
different with a
told me
daughter.
something, if they told me something happened fishy the first time, I was going to jail, and that's just the bottom line.
The first time. But it's the
First
same
time,
with boys. You got men that'll mess with your boy kids too. How many people have molested?
exactly.
Not I'm saying anybody is cast, but there are fathers that molest their little boys. Period. And they ain't
All
even
the time.
pedophiles. You know what I mean? It's stuff shit happens all the time in people's households. So you don't, you never know. And then there are those parents and those wives and those girlfriends that know it's going on.
Yep. Hey, Jeffrey. But you have those. I think at that point, when you get a woman like that, and just say your daughter comes to you and say, "Ma, when you weren't here, he looked at me wrong, or he touched me some type of way," and they'll get mad at their daughters. You remember? It's been a while now. This mother and daughter was arguing real bad on Facebook because the daughter
And she beat
told
it
her
with a
mother,
phone.
"Huh?
Is that the one with the lady beat her with a phone?
No, 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 not that one. Not that
Okay.
one. No, when the mother and daughter got into it because the daughter told her mother that her boyfriend tried her. And she was like, B, you just jealous or something because I'm happy and da da da. He don't want
Yeah.
you. He didn't want you. And what did you do to make him look at you like that? And what did you do? Like, why you blaming your daughter when this man know this is your daughter? Like,
Right.
no.
Well, he may have had his eyes on the daughter all along. But
Right.
women unfortunately sometimes can be extremely gullible when it comes to guys, and especially if they're like a woman that hasn't had a guy in a long time or it's hard to get a guy. and then they get one that shows them all this attention. The minute something slips out of character for them, that's hard because they're like, oh my God, now I got to start over again. And this child of mine is in the way. Your child now becomes the burden. I've seen this happen a lot of times, but a kid becomes the burden because the mother wants to do what she wants to do.
Well, I feel like it's lack of self-esteem on the woman's part. If she accepts that, I feel like it's a little desperate, and I feel like it's a little damn thirsty. I'm just not doing it. Period.
Yeah, I mean, no, I think it's a sad situation, but a lot of women overlook. They do, honey. They overlook it.
Hey, Matthew, I totally agree. Matthew said you shouldn't date him, and you need to get your guy friends to beat his ass. I totally agree.
I agree, Matthew, 100%.
For real. Because that's just like, no. Mm-mm. It's just, to me, there's just no reason for that. No child should turn on an adult, period.
Yeah.
And like you just said, people be so focused on their daughters. You have to watch your sons too, because you have men that go in there and molest your boys, women that go in there and molest your boys.
And women, and yes, I was going to say, don't forget these stepmothers and these, honey, some of these people are sick. Look at the one the story that was on Netflix about the two twin boys. And the mother was raping the boys all along. The father knew. I'm gonna tell you the name. The father knew all along for years that they was raping that boy. And one twin got into a motorcycle accident and lost his memory and did not remember nothing. And his twin brother created a life for him that was perfect, and he carried the load until that episode aired on Netflix about them two boys. It was the saddest story, but he had to tell his brother the truth, and his brother could not wrap his head around it because he couldn't remember none of it. He saw pictures with their head cut off with their penises. The mother would cut their heads off the picture and post the pictures on the wall of just their penises. And then have the neighbors come over and get the boys. Yeah, she would have the neighbors come over, get the boys, take them all night, sleep with them, men and women. It was like the neighborhood block kids that had sex with everybody in the neighborhood. And the father knew. Yeah, the father knew, and she died. And the twin loved her. The one that didn't know, he loved her. He couldn't understand until the end. I'm gonna tell you the name of that movie, girl. I'm telling you, it's a true story. So the biography, and it just make you cry. It really do. It was so sad.
Well, you guys can sick ass people in the world, and some people just want to be with somebody so bad they don't care what their past is, and and some things you can look over. Everybody has a past, granted, and nobody's here to judge anybody, but it's certain shit for me that I just won't accept. Period. I don't care what you did, what you turned around, none of that. If I know you don't have indecent liberties with a child or a minor, it's a wrap for me. I'm just not going to do that. I don't care who you are, what you're doing. It's just not cool in any shape, form, or fashion. I said what I said, and I'm going to stand by what I said. You just don't do it, period.
Yeah, there's some things in life. I mean, first of all, you got to think about how bad scar. It's one thing, and I'm not even condemning this. It's one thing if the child is like 17, 18. When you're talking about a child that's like 5, 6 that can't comprehend what's even happening remotely, and you got this grown ass man with grown parts. Woo, child. Yeah, you're right. That'll make you hurt somebody.
Well,
that'll make you hurt somebody. Pretty bad. And you can see it from a mile long.
Even when my girls were younger, I rarely let them spend the night with anywhere. Rarely. But if they did, there couldn't be a man in the house. It had to be a single mother with her daughter or whatever. If they had brothers and shit, I would not let them go. I say they can come spend the night with you, but you're not going to spend the night with them.
We couldn't spend the night with nobody. My mama made us go nowhere. We spend the night with each other.
Right. And me being the youngest, you know what I'm saying? I had so many cousins and shit. My mom, I stayed at my aunt's house a lot because I was little, but it was so many of us. We didn't have like outside people we had to go spend the night with or whatever. But other than that, no, you just no. I just can't fathom. Like I remember I had to go. I was sitting in the courtroom one time. I had went with somebody to court for something. It's some years ago. And this lady was in there, and she was this kind of white lady. She was with this Mexican guy, crying her eyeballs out. This man had molested and sodomized her little 5-year-old daughter. And he was able to sit in the courtroom and tell about it. they would have been having me on a murder trial. You feel me? Like, no, you don't know. She was crying and crying and crying and crying. Girl, what is you crying for? Like, he shouldn't even be able to come walk up in this courtroom.
But think about the picture that the attorney paints of the person that was the victim.
Yeah. Because the first thing they asked her, well, where were you when this was going on? Like, and the woman was crying so bad she could barely get her words out, and you could tell she was like genuinely hurt by it. You know what I mean? But it was something that if you pay attention, that you had to see, that you noticed wasn't right with your child. You know what I'm saying?
If you know your kids, you'll know their movement. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
It's just like mothers that say their daughters is pregnant for 9 months and they ain't know. How you got a child living with you for 9 months and you can't tell she having a baby?
Girl,
I can't wrap my head around that. I've been trying to understand that for years. Like, sorry, my leg.
A lot of people do it. One of my daughter's friends, she was in high school, played basketball the whole time and everything. She went to the doctor because her stomach was hurt real bad. I think she knew, but her parents didn't know because she wasn't showing at all. Came home with a baby.
Yeah, and then you have the ones that throw the babies in the trash can when they have them at school. Trust me, I know it's a lot of this.
That's another issue of you communicating with your kids. I've always tell my girls, I don't care how bad it is, what it is, you come and you talk to me before you talk to anybody, because it's not going to make me love you any less or any different. My love for you is unconditional. I don't care how bad you think it is, what you come and you tell me. And that's what you have to like drill in your kids, because if they can't come to you and talk to you, who they going to talk to? Like a lot of kids, like I'm saying, is molested or whatever, and in the household with the parent, and they parents molest them, or their significant others, they don't have that type of relationship where they can even go talk to them and tell them about it, and they can't go tell somebody else. So that's a burden to bear for anybody. But
that's a hard one. That's a hard one to. I think a lot of people don't like to talk about stuff like this. They rather just sugarcoat it and just say it's not happening. When we do live in a world where this stuff really happens, like this stuff is real. Some of these shows are not as, jumping and laughing, because you got to talk about the topics that's real too. And this would be one of the real ones. People don't want to talk about it. The stuff people don't want to hear. It is sick. It is sad, but it happens every day. So when you're sitting here, you might have somebody watching this stream and say, "Damn, I'm going through that." See what I'm saying? You don't know who you touch and who's listening, who's watching, and who might be going through this right now in their home. And maybe go ahead, hon.
I was just about to say, just because you don't talk about it doesn't mean it's not happening. Right. And it happens way more often than not. Period. And like you say, you see these kids, they always look sad. It's always this. You don't know what that child is going through behind those closed doors, and they don't have anybody to vent to or anybody to talk to. And God forbid they go tell somebody and talk to somebody, and that person start doing the same shit to them. You have that happen too.
Or you have the parents that beat them and say they're lying.
Yeah, well, you know if your child lying or not about some shit like that. And again, that goes, with the relationship that you have with your child. Certain shit you like your child's not gonna lie about to you.
I would just say to a woman, if you're going to start dating and you haven't been dating and you have daughters and you have small kids, these are the things that you should actually look into before you let somebody come to your house and lay in your bed. I know I have some friends, every time their kids meet a man, they call him daddy, and it just drives me freaking crazy. I cannot stand that. I'm like, that is not their daddy. They should not be calling them daddy. You can't have a call everybody daddy, because you're going to get confused. Who's the daddy?
Or they have them call them uncle, then they grow up seeing you in the bed with uncle whoever, and then they can lay around with their cousins and shit. Like, no, tell these
exactly. It's like, what?
I never forget.
This is the stuff that happens. I'm telling you. I have friends. I say it all the time. I'd be like, why do you make them call everybody daddy? Like that ain't the answer.
That ain't the daddy.
And how the kid be laying in between him. I wish I might have somebody over here Harper laying in the middle. Oh my God, girl, my brain can't wrap around that.
Shit, some of
But
them lay in the bed and the child goes to sleep, they scoot them over and still have sex. Shit.
I've heard of that. That's nasty. What if the
Mm-mm. Then
child
the
just
child
okay?
wake up. Then the child
Yeah,
wake
and then
up
you
when they start
looking
acting grown and emulating what they see. Then you want to beat the child's ass. You shouldn't have been doing it in front of them.
in front of in the first damn place.
No, I guess, you know. But back to the topic at hand. If y'all dating somebody and you know without the shadow of a doubt this person, and you got kids and you got grandkids, or younger nieces and nephews that come around, and this person got this, it's a sickness. It's like you don't know what he may do, or you don't know what his mind, or what his thinking is like you don't know if he's gonna flip out, see a kid and just start, what I'm saying, like all types of
What
shit. Like
happens?
I just, for the life of me, I don't get that, and I just probably never will. But I mean, to each his own. But I just wouldn't do it. Couldn't do it.
Yeah, and sometimes these people have this stuff taken off their records, and they know how to get it done and go to classes and train and all kinds of stuff to get the charge removed. And you never know, you can't find a trace of it. Nothing, no paper trail of something they done did.
Because you remember my sister's old neighborhood down there. It was one that lived right across the street from the school, and he had to have that sign in his yard. He had to
Yeah.
have a sign in his yard. When them buses was running and shit, he couldn't even come out of his house when them kids was outside or anything. If he wasn't home, he had to stay in there till they cleared the area.
And they can't come out on Halloween either. They can't open the door.
Well,
That's a life. That's a sad life. I mean, you're forever punished for what you. I mean, once you get caught, you are forever punished for the rest of your life.
You should be,
because no one's going to look at you the same. I mean, yeah, that's what they do in China and Japan. They cut it off, but no one's going to look at you ever the same. Like
they should, and I believe they should cut it right on off. Cut your fingers off too, so you can't touch no more kids. Your toes too, if you got to. I don't give a shit. Shouldn't be touching no little babies.
And there's some people that do it repeatedly, over and over and over.
But let's go back to the show we had last week. Yeah, they do, and that's those people are. It's called a what's it called? Recidivist or something like that. That means you're an offender that does it over. Yeah, it means that you're the type of person that you do this. You commit the same act and crime over and over and over again.
That's and don't think nothing of it.
Yeah, just like you said, a repeat offender. But that goes back to what was I finna say? When I was saying one show we had last week, and I was said like, when we were talking about should you discipline your significant other's kids or whatever we was talking about, and I said no, because you never know how that person is really feeling about your child. It's like every time you turn on the news, like these girls or guys go out here meeting these people and dating them and feel comfortable enough to leave their kids when they come back, their child dead. They, saying the child missing, where they done killed the child and then go bury it and all this type of stuff. You got to be careful and mindful who you bring around your kids. Here, Orlando said, hello, Queens. I would need to know the true story first. I was going to say, hell no. If a guy is 19 and the girl was 17, couldn't it be labeled as a pet? Could he be labeled as a pedophile? That's what I said earlier, Orlando, before you came in. I said, when it comes to a sex offender, because they do label them as sex offenders if the child, and this may be only a year or two in between, then that's different. That's totally different. And I don't think that should be labeled as pedophilia. Now, if he attacks her and that's a sexual assault, then that's different too. You should be charged as such. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter what the age is, if she's 16, 17, whatever the case may be. Sexual assault is sexual assault at that point. But I'm talking about like when you have a helpless child that can't help themselves and can barely tell you what happened. You just see that the child is changing, they're more withdrawn, they're this, they that, all these things is what I'm talking about. Now 17 and 19, but at 17, they're not considered a minor. I think is what it used to be 16, now it's 15, I think. But that's different. That's a year or two in age, and they could be going together or whatever. And then if the parents consent to it, if she's 15 and he's 17, then that's different too. But I don't think that's pedophilia. Pedophilia is when you have indecent liberties with a minor or a child.
But
That
you know, in some countries, the men are allowed to marry girls as 13 and 12.
we ain't talking about them. That's them people's culture. They do that in
I'm
India.
saying it's still nasty as
They do it
hell.
in Africa. Yeah, regardless, it doesn't matter. What can a little girl do for you? And they make them marry these people. These some sick ass
Uh-huh.
individuals too. They not exempt just because that's their culture. Their culture don't
Right.
make it right. You always trying to throw something shit in the game, but
I
anywho,
gotta ask the questions. That's the what ifs. The what if?
but
What
that's
if? What if?
but regardless, that's sickening though. It doesn't matter as far you remember that preacher down there in Atlanta, Reverend Allen, right there down off Abernathy, when he was marrying off, they had like that cult in the church, that old black preacher, and he had the young girls 13 and stuff marrying off to some of the members in the church. He said he was marrying them off to keep them from being potential whores. You remember
Oh
that?
Lord. Keep
He was
he was
black.
saving them.
No, okay, this is what was happening. He was taking the girls and keeping them like they had their own little community in the church, and they was
Uh-huh.
taking these girls, and they would take the girls at certain ages and make them marry the older men in the church. He said marrying them off was keeping them from being potential whores. That's what he said. And they
Wow.
was like 13 and 14 years old, and finally a parent was a whistleblower, and that's how he got caught. You don't remember that? That's when I
No.
lived there.
Well, hell, that was a decade ago. I mean, I am old now, Vaughn.
Yeah, you remember it?
You got a good ass memory because I don't remember that at all. Like at all.
You don't remember yesterday,
I
but
really don't. I really
Orlando
don't.
said, now I feel predators should be taken out. If they're doing certain shit, Orlando, and you know they dealing with these helpless kids, they should be.
Yeah,
Should be.
it's but you know, you gotta still start with the parents that's allowing it to happen in the households, knowing that it's happening, choosing to overlook
That's
it, bend a
different.
blind eye, you know, just turn their head and act like they don't see what's going on around them for the sake of the man or the sake of the woman. Either one, it doesn't matter.
But you know, in that case, too, a lot of times, really, when he's abusive on top of that, and she don't know how to save herself or her child, you know what I'm saying? You know,
Yeah.
that's when you go sneak and go get you some self-defense classes, get your gun, go to the gun range, get your gun permit, and then go back home. Okay, I'm ready now. Bring your ass on in if you want to.
I don't think
mean,
we're
it
going
ain't
to
funny. It's not a laughing matter. I mean, I'm serious for real. I'm
I
serious
know
about
you are, but you cannot tell these people on the slide, go to the gun range. They were like, "Ron, look, B. Lovebird told me to go to the gun range, get a gun, and blow your head off."
And then too, you have to report this. So if you have to do something, there's a record of it to save your own ass.
But most people don't report it, Vaughn. You got to understand, most women that's had that, they don't say nothing.
That the majority don't report it, but I'm saying if you report it and you got this paper trail, and then you have, you know, the people that seek help and they call the police and they'll come and say, well, it ain't nothing we can do about it because you live here. I mean, is it somewhere you can go? And they leave, and the next thing you know, the next call is that person is dead.
Right.
Because
right.
they called you for help. If you can't help me, what did you come over here for?
Yeah.
Orlando said, I remember a movie you told us about, Shell. She was just talking about that too.
I was just talking about that movie. I'm going to tell y'all the name of that movie. I'm going to go on my favorites and I'm going to post it. I'm telling you, it's the best movie you can watch on Netflix. I have to ask my mother.
Well, I just say I'm not doing it. If I know you done
the movie Precious was like that.
Yeah, it was.
And that was sad. It was nasty sad. And she had two babies for her dad, and her mama knew the whole time.
For her daddy.
For her daddy.
And you'd be surprised how much that shit happens too. Men making their daughters.
Ooh, that's some stuff I couldn't even wrap my head around. That to me is deep.
Girl, this topic making me want to have to need a drink.
Because you think about it, every time you look at your kid, they know you their mama, but they also know you their sister.
And your daddy is your daddy and your grandpa.
And your grandpa. Girl, no. Oh my God, no, that's nasty. That is nasty. No. I don't even know what makes somebody's mind that sick. Like, what happens? What happens to you so traumatic in your life that will make you want to just rape, touch, molest, whatever to a child? Like, it has to be something so dark that that's the only thing your mind can wrap it around. Like something so dark.
It's not even about being so dark. It's about control too. It's a control issue. You know,
Yeah.
if you have a person, just like think like if you watching these shows, how the person looks. The pervert always looks like he's been like withdrawn. Nobody paid attention to him or picked on him. Then he finds somebody that he can control, and that's what it's about. It's about control.
Yeah.
A
Huh.
lot of it, I guess. I don't know, but
So
I would think that a lot of it is about control.
yeah.
But
Well,
like I said, keep people
it's
away from your
just
damn kids.
your kids. Yeah. You just gotta watch your children. I mean,
Your grandbabies, your kids, you know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Like that's like even my little grandbaby. I don't post a lot of pictures of him because I know some sick people out here in the world.
Hmm.
I post, you know, a little bit, you know, something here and there, whatever, but I don't post a lot of pictures because we think it's all cute. Oh, look at them, they cute, but you got some real pedophiles and
Gotta
perverts out
sit
here
there.
looking at
Yeah.
these kids differently. Orlando said because they may have been touched at a young age and they think it's normal. That's true too, Orlando, but society and media tells us and common sense tells us just because it was done to you, there's stuff out here letting you know that that shit is just not cool. It's just not right. And if you feel you have an issue with that, go seek some help. Go talk to somebody about it. Because, you know, a lot
Yeah.
of people say it's a sickness.
But
You
you
know,
know, a lot of
perversion,
times when kids speak
sickness
out
or
about
whatever.
somebody touching them, a lot
Huh?
of times when people speak out, a lot of times when kids speak out about somebody touching them, they're made to feel so bad for telling the truth.
Mm-hmm. Or sometimes the parents don't want them to speak out because they don't want people looking at them a certain kind of way. Like, and they dare
Right.
you to say something. You better not tell nobody this, or you better not tell. Why the fuck not? Like, you supposed to be handling this, and I'm telling you. And if you, as my parent, not doing anything about it, then who else can I talk to? Because
Right.
you afraid of, you know, breaking a relationship with this person that did something to your child, or, you know, causing something, if especially if it's a family member causing a problem with, you know, the family. If it's gonna cause a problem with the family, okay, let's stir some shit up because this finna come out right here right now. Because me being the way I am, everybody finna know it because I'm finna show my
I
ass.
know. Show your whole ass. I already know.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, some things
Yeah,
you can't
I'm
explain.
telling you, you know, it's sad, but it's true. And like I said, hey Sean, Sean said no, but I would help him. I would help them get help. We should shy away from people that need. We should not shy away. Basically, is what he said. No, Sean, I'm not saying that. And some people do need help, but I'm saying the people that know and they still cool with dating this person, like especially if you got little kids and you don't know, you go to sleep and he creeping in your child's room, or you know what I'm saying, or your child taking a bath and every time you see your child you see him like creeping down the hall hoping they come out with a towel or some shit on. No, that's just
Right.
not cool. Now granted, you help people when they need help, and some people don't know how to ask for help, but if
True.
it was one of mine and you touch it, I'm gonna help you, but it ain't gonna be the way you think it's gonna be.
Vonda says a whole nother help, Sean. She ain't trying to
Yeah,
check
no,
you,
I'm
baby.
telling you, no, I ain't being funny about it. I'm not being funny. I'm just
Because your
telling you.
mindset's going to go left. That's the first thing. You hear
Yeah,
your child's crying in front of you, and then it's somebody that you trusted with your child. Yeah, that'll make you do a couple things to somebody.
yeah, Orlando, like Orlando just said, imagine all those boys that got touched in the Boy Scouts, or all those little boys that got touched in the church, and you know
Hmm.
all these types of things in football camps and all this type of stuff. You know, like I
Right.
said earlier, we focus so much on our daughters that we forget about our
The
sons, our
little
boys,
boys.
and
I'm
stuff
telling
like.
you, them
Because I'm
boys.
telling you, it happens to boys just as much, and you know, it messes a girl up. But when it happens to a boy child, that's a heterosexual child,
Sexual
it
child.
really messes them up. Yeah. Sean
Because
said
now
no
they're torn
because
between the two.
Sean said no because this situation happened to a friend of mine. It was crazy. And what happened, Sean? I'm an inquiring mind. I want to know. How did they handle
Yeah.
it? Like, did they get help? Were they the victim, or were they the perpetrator? But yeah, it's just certain things you just like I say, if a person needs help, they need help, and they come and they say, "Listen, I got a problem," da 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 da, and you leave, you send that person in the right direction to get the help that they need. That don't
Right.
mean it may not even be pertaining to you, but if they feel comfortable enough to tell you, "Look, I got a problem, and when I see this and that, I'm gonna help you find you some help if you seeking help." I just know I won't be that person that you could come to my house, you could chill with me and my girls or my nieces or
And
stuff
talk to me about it.
like
I
that. But
think
I
I would
can
have a
talk to
hard time
you.
sitting down hearing it, because when they
Yeah,
talk to you, they telling you, I like to touch a child. I like how it feels. And you have to be able to wrap your mind around that.
that's hard.
That's
Um,
hard.
Orlando said they got a lot. Yeah, they got a lot of lawsuits against the Boy Scouts of America now. Orlando, they do. Sean said she married a dude and found out when her daughter told her she was about to shoot him, but he's locked up now. They probably tossing his ass left and right because
All
from what
around the
I
base.
hear from friends of mine that's been locked up, when pedophiles come in there, they get tortured, and he should. He ain't no different. He should.
Yeah. But then you have the
How
ones
old
that
was
come out and
her
learn.
daughter when it happened to her daughter?
That's sad though.
Yeah,
Mm.
like, dude, you got a whole grown ass woman in here, but you want to touch her daughter? No.
You
Mm-mm.
hear men say, "Oh, it's young, it's tighter, it's this, it's that."
That's
I
the
think that's
bullshit.
where the mindset comes from of somebody doing it. I think it's just their mind saying, "Oh, this is going to be tight, and I got to break it in, or I got to." This is the stuff that you hear. So,
Yeah,
and
they
that's
do.
what makes it even more. And then you got to think about the child is forever scarred. You done ruined her ovaries, her canal, and everything else that come with her.
I
And
remember
little
years
boys
ago.
is worse.
I remember years ago, it was a guy. I didn't know him personally, but I knew the mother. I knew of the
Mhm.
mother, and she wasn't too far away from where I lived. And she had left her baby at home. The baby at the time was like 9 months old, something like that. Had left the baby at home with the dude. He called the pastor crying and crying and crying, like, "Help me, help me." He had penetrated that baby, shattered her insides. The little baby, she never baby to have children, none of that stuff. I mean, he messed that baby up. And I was like, probably like 15 minutes from here. This is a small place, so everything's in close
Mhm.
proximity.
Right.
And I
Yes.
was like, she was so distraught because she didn't, I guess she wouldn't have guessed, but still. But then after he did it, he was so sorry. He was like, "You done messed this child up for life, a baby."
You just gave me a whole headache. Like
I mean,
a whole
no, that's some
headache.
sick shit. Like, no.
Yeah, that's beyond
Orlando,
nasty.
R. Kelly was sick and it was a power trip for him. That's what I'm saying. It's about control, Orlando. Sean said years of therapy, and her daughter was in middle school. Plus, the mom went to therapy also, which was good and helped. Well, it was good that they both went because she probably felt some way, some type of way. As a mother, and you said she was going to shoot him, but as a mother, and your child comes and tell you that, and there was no way you could help your child, that would
Protect
crush
her.
me.
Yeah, because that's the
That would
first thing
crush
to think.
me.
You didn't protect me.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
And then because I've always told my girls, I don't care what somebody tell you. I don't care if they say, if you tell I'm gonna do this to your mom, I'm gonna do this to your sister. You tell me anyway, and let me deal with that. Don't you keep nothing from me. If somebody touch you
Right.
wrong or say something inappropriate to you or out of the way, I've always drilled that in them. I said, don't worry about if they say they're gonna hurt
Yep.
them, because some kids be afraid to tell what they say they're
Scared
gonna
to
hurt.
death.
Yeah, they're gonna hurt my mom if I tell. They're gonna do. No, you tell your
Mm,
mama, because we're not playing no kind of games with
mm.
nobody.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but
That's crazy.
but like I was saying, and going back to what Orlando said about the Boy Scouts, so much of that. And you think you got these dudes, them like just from dropping your kids out, but at the end of the day, they still total strangers. They got your boys off in the woods for weekends or a week at a time.
Laying in little tents.
Yeah, you don't know what they're doing. You
Uh-uh.
just don't know. Like, bruh, no. Mm-mm.
But it's sad. It's what is sad is because daycares all alike. You don't know when you put your child in the hand of somebody else. You do not know what's going to take place.
Yep.
You just have to make sure you tell your child. You tell me. You talk. You almost drill it in their head every day. Tell me. Tell me. Tell me.
Because my daughter be like, because every day my grandson get home, I say, who did something to you? Did somebody do something to you today? And I'm teaching him how to tell, like, who did it. So last night she popped him. He came out, he was running. He said, honey. I said, who did it? He said, mommy. And she must have brushed his nose. He said, mommy, no. Mommy, no. So that let me know she touched him on his nose.
Yeah.
So he's learning now because he just turned 2. So, but I'm teaching him. You come tell your honey. You tell honey go.
And mine tell everything. She telling it from the grandpa to the children in the house, the friends that come over. She gonna tell it.
She got that from her mommy. Don't tell no me,
she gonna
you,
tell it.
everybody else.
Harper gonna tell it, honey. She gonna be like, mommy, and such and such did such and such. She gonna tell it.
As soon as I walk in that door, she goes, Auntie Vanda, let me tell you what happened. Miss Parker, whatever the lady name was, she hit me at school and she said, don't do this, Harper.
Yeah.
And she said, I was like, oh God, Harper, please stop for like 5 seconds. Just catch your breath, baby. Did tell.
That baby gonna tell it. I'm like, I be telling her every day what happened. What mama tell you? She already knows. She telling me.
Just think that she couldn't speak well, you know what I'm saying? And she wouldn't have been able to tell you that.
Yeah. That's true,
you know
but she
don't.
Like, but that one talks well. She don't ever talk.
Well, and then some. I wonder why.
She get it from her mama.
You ain't lying, but you just don't shut up. Sometimes I be like, y'all, listen. I had to tell her every day when she called me. I say, hello. I said, well, hey, how you doing? Can you damn speak her? She just don't shut.
She be like, you didn't even say hi. I be like, Bonnie, guess what? And I go right into this. She just be like,
right in. And then she say, oh, I said, oh, Wanda, how was your day? But girl, let me tell you. I'm like, damn.
Because I be waiting all day to tell you, and then I get you on the phone. I'm like, I gotta tell her everything right now.
You gotta tell me what you're dreaming about, what happened between them. Girl, give it a break.
You got a friend like me. Oh my God, you stupid.
Look,
I can't.
God forbid if something ever happened to me and they're gonna say, just talk to her and she'll come out of it. Send her.
Yeah, go sit right up in the bed. Like, what the hell?
Look, between you and my niece, neat. If y'all send both of them, I'm gonna come out that shit like that.
I'll be like Ike in that Mutoso, get up. What you doing here, girl? Get out. What you trying to do? You ain't finna die.
Now you can't die, and if you die,
you can't die.
You die, I'm a kid.
You gotta sing. Oh my God.
But you know what? I put the phone down and I'll be all over the house and come back and you still talking.
I'm not talking to you. I'm not talking to you no more.
I did it. Watch this. I went to the bathroom. I went to the kitchen, got me something to drink. I checked the mailbox. I came back in and sat down. I said, what? She was still talking.
I can't with you. So now I know why you be saying what you say. Okay, see, I got you now. I ain't gonna talk to you. You'll miss me when I'm gone.
I said, I missed that last thing you said. What you say? I should go right back.
Right back in the format. You a home food.
I should have told you. I'm sorry. But
now I know. Look, now I know what you do.
My sister do that too. My kids be rolling, they be laughing, they be like, Mommy, you so crazy. I said, they ain't gonna stop talking. I'm getting to it anyway, but they're gonna repeat it in a minute.
Oh my God, I almost had Frank can't read. We can't clean on top, but you a whole fool. You a whole fool.
Y'all, my birthday is coming up.
Yes, we finna turn up one for the team.
I'm excited.
Mm-hmm.
Girl, I look back on my life and say, thank you, Lord.
She's turning 56 and a half.
Whatever. I look good to be 56, bitch.
Look, she turning. I got one of them bathing suits today. Girl, I couldn't do nothing with it.
My stuff didn't even come.
When I say it came in a super small, I think they sent me an extra small. I couldn't even get a thigh in it. I was like, no. The large was like a small.
What? Well, I hope it don't do that to me.
No, I'm sending it back. I'm taking it tomorrow.
But no, my stuff was supposed to come today. It didn't come yet.
Mine came. Two of mine come today, two come tomorrow, and two come Wednesday.
Thank you, Orlando. He said I look good at any age. And FYI, y'all, I'll be 51. Not
She'll be 51, y'all. She's not turning
she had to turn
55.
70. Don't she look good for a white
Look,
woman?
welcome to me.
Yeah, don't she look good for an old white lady?
No.
Oh, I thank God for getting older, honey, because a lot of people didn't make it. They
Yeah.
didn't. I thank
Yeah.
God for any age, honey. I'm grateful.
But
Grateful,
she's
grateful,
aging
grateful.
nicely. She doesn't even have gray hair. I got a head full of the shit.
I have
I got a
none.
head full of it.
I got a great eyelash though, right here. This one. And when I
But
pull it out, it's so coarse. When I pull it out, it grow right back.
I think the hardest thing for a woman is when her hair turns gray on her vajayjay.
Why? It just
I don't
costs
know
more.
because it looks wiry. It
Well, it
looks
costs more
wiry.
because it reached platinum status. He said,
Mm-mm.
Shell, did you watch that movie?
I'm watching it tonight. Do not tell me about it, but I'm watching it
What
tonight. I
is
had to download it.
what
Annabella.
Antebellum?
Mm-hmm.
I want to see that one with Amari Hardwick and Loretta Devine Spell. And that movie looked like it's good.
I ain't heard of that one. The one in
It's,
Orlando, they was watching it.
it's on Prime, but it's I think $15. And Antebellum is like 20 or something like that. And then there's another one called Unhinged. I want to see that one too. It's like 3 good movies on Prime, but you got to pay for them.
There
So
was,
I'm gonna wait till they free.
but we download them off the French channel, which I don't speak it, but somebody knows how to download it from French.
Because you don't want to learn anything.
No, I don't want to learn how to speak it at all.
Oh, God.
So that's how I'm able to watch it.
Well, well, find out what that link is so that I can watch it.
But you ain't gonna be able to read it because it's in French.
No, I had Black Panther and I had what's that other one? But you got to keep doing these like updates and stuff like that. But everything was on there. Everything new came out. It would show like right
Yeah,
then.
because they release that stuff over there early, and then we get it
Mm-hmm.
late. So when they're downloading it on their podcast over there, like in France and
What
Europe
is
and
it?
stuff, they have right. It's HD quality, but I'm just saying you got to be able to read French to know the name.
Well, we know you don't know how to do that,
No,
and
but I
I
know how
don't
to
need.
download.
But you're gonna watch a movie and you don't know what they're saying.
No, it's in English, crazy. It's when
I
you're
just said
downloading.
that. You said it was in French.
No, the movie's in English, but the name when you're reading the subtitle, you got to know how to read it
Oh, like
in
the
French.
Chinese writing that shit on the screen or whatever.
Right. You have to know how to read that part. But they get it though. So I'm gonna
Yeah,
watch that
Orlando,
later.
I really want to see that movie. I think Spell is gonna
Yeah.
be really, really good. And that movie Unhinged look like it's good as hell too. With what's that man? Russell Crowe. He gained a lot of weight for that movie.
And we always that crazy.
Yeah, but he gained a lot of weight for that movie. That movie. That's how when you messing with people out here having road rage, you don't know what type of day somebody had. The only thing she had to do was apologize.
And
That's
she did
it.
apologize.
Well,
Well,
it was a little too late. I saw the trailer. But anywho, y'all, so
Tony
we
said
talk
sex.
more about pedophilia than somebody being a sex offender. But even with that, I don't want to be with somebody that I know took something from somebody. Hey, Phil. I don't want to be with somebody that I know took something from a woman. If she's not willing to give it to
To give
you,
it to you.
bro, what you gonna take it for? That just don't make sense to me. Yeah, he did put on some weight, but yeah, this is like you violating somebody's whole being, like, and you not only scarring them emotionally, you scarring them mentally and physically too. Like,
Yep.
what does a man get out of that? Like, I would never want to know, and
I
I
don't
don't
even
want
want nobody to
anybody.
tell me they did that and explain it to me. That would gross me out. I
Yeah,
don't even
like,
want to know.
nah,
Some
that's just
things,
not.
it's just like when people post on Facebook and they post that shit on your wall of like a kid
Yeah,
being beat or a kid or somebody, telling a kid to do crazy stuff. I have to tell people that don't post that shit on my wall. Like I don't get into it. I don't want to see it. I don't want to carry it. Just that's
it
why I
does
started blocking my
to me. I don't
timeline.
like. I don't like. Hi, Tony Montana. What do you mean sex? What are you talking about? But I don't know what that last one said, child. But yeah, but you know, and like you say, some people will lie on somebody, and you
Hmm.
know, it depending on what it is, you get the full story first because you know we know a lot of people who have been falsely accused of shit that they didn't do, and
Right.
you know, if that's the case, at least explain that. And you know, if you know people that you know say, well, you know, he didn't really do that. She was just mad because of XYZ or whatever, and that happens too. You know what I'm saying? Phil said she should be with him for just enough time for her to get away with murder. Right. And then you
I
come
know,
back with
right?
mine. I ain't worrying about the time. The only time I'm gonna do is when they lock my black ass up, because I ain't gonna wait. No,
Yeah,
because
I think you go blank. You go blank for that minute of like what they call it, like the
yeah,
second of insanity, and you just have that
yeah,
moment where you just don't register nothing that's
temporary
going on around
insanity.
you. Yeah,
Temporary insanity. Yeah, and at that point, if it's immediately after, it's not premeditated because you
because
acted
you didn't
right.
have time to think about it. Yeah,
Like when that dude in Florida walked in on the boy down the street messing with his son. He beat him until he called 911 and beat his ass until they got there. When they got there, they continued to let him beat his ass.
wow.
His eye was hanging down like this, like literally. He boy, he tried to kill him.
Mm-mm.
His son was like 12 and the dude was like maybe 21 or 22. And I think when he walked in, I can't remember if he had him performing oral sex on him or he was, you know, sodomizing
Ah,
him or whatever. I can't remember what it was, but it was one of the two. But when I tell you
it's
that daddy
nasty.
tried to beat him to death, and when the police got there, and see, he wasn't charged because it happened during the act. He saw it right then and he reacted. So he was never
Right.
charged with it. Because it was like like temporary insanity. He saw something happening to his child and he lost it.
Hmm.
And rightfully so.
Yeah,
But you
that's a
know,
lot.
so I asked you about that the first part. So could you be with somebody if you knew they had sexually assaulted somebody and they like really sexually assaulted them?
No,
No, no lies, no nothing like that. That he really did that
no,
shit.
no.
Mm.
Because my mind will always wonder, and I will always be in doubt of every time I leave, every time I move, every time I walk. You know, I'll be always wondering what you doing behind my back.
And not only that, if he do it to you yourself, say you say no, or y'all get into it or whatever, and then he, you know, hit that switch flips. You know, they flick that switch. It's something in his head, and he turns into
Yeah.
that violent person that he was when he assaulted somebody else. You know what I'm saying? Because it
Oof,
can
oof.
happen. It's different when you want
No.
them to take it now, as
And
opposed to
but you know, if you
yeah,
having sex with a man and you say stop, he has to stop. Well, he's supposed to.
he's supposed to. Right.
Supposed to.
It's different when you know you in that mode and you want him to take it as opposed to him
Right.
being aggressive and turning into a whole different person that you don't know when he take. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
it's
It's
different.
a different feeling.
Yeah, yeah, right. Totally different. So, you know, some people say some women want you to do it. If she wants you to do that, that's fine and good, but
You're
that's
gonna
on a
know the
different
difference
level.
between somebody
Yeah, you
wanting
know
you
the
to and
difference.
somebody screaming, "Don't touch me like that." I mean,
Yeah,
that's
you know the
common sense.
difference. It's like when you with somebody and you got to kick your legs, like tell them stop. No, no, no. If she tell you stop, just damn stop. And vice versa, when he tell you stop, leave his ass alone
Leave his
too.
ass alone.
Men
Stop.
get raped. They
No mean
say,
no. It does not mean no. Yes, it means
but they
no.
say, but they say men get raped too, like by women. I mean, I just.
Yep.
But they say, I mean, I guess if he say no and she take it anyway and plop on top of, but never mind what I was gonna say. But I just, you
What you
know,
gonna say, Von? Gonna say.
like a double so like if she take it, that mean you have to be erect. Your dick got to be hard for her to be able to take it. You know what I'm saying? Like oh Antoine Fisher when she kept molesting him when he was a little boy, and then when he became
The
grown,
auntie.
yeah, and she was like, you know, but at that point he was really being molested. But this is like I don't know. When a man say he raped, I don't know because I saw something, a documentary or read something a long time ago, and the man said the woman raped him or whatever. And I guess in his case, he wasn't interested in her in no form of fashion. And I don't know if she gave him something, and then when he woke up, she had slept with him. That's still rape, though. Yeah, so I could see that happening. Hey Tracy, but yeah, I could see that. But at the end of the day, don't mess with a child.
It's called Tell Me
Period.
Who I Am. That's the name of it. The
Tell
name
me
of the
who I
movie
am.
on Netflix is Tell Me Who I Am. Yep.
Yeah, I got so many
Tell Me Who I
movies
Am.
written down. You don't tell me to watch.
That's the name, Orlando. Tell Me Who I Am by Twin Boys.
Netflix.
Netflix. It's a
I got about 4
documentary
movies
about two
you
twin
don't tell
boys,
me to
y'all.
watch.
Good documentary, but it's sad.
Of course,
I
Tracy. Why
know. I
would I
tell you every night.
change? I am who I
Hey,
am. You
Tracy,
know
Graham.
me. I've been this way forever. But anyway, y'all, we've come to the end of
Uh
our hour. And it's just something to think about, when you're dating somebody, it doesn't hurt to like do a little background check on their ass. Google their ass. It's gonna tell you who in the family, all that kind of stuff. Google yourself and you'll be surprised what pops up. For real, for real. You like,
Yeah.
what?
You be like,
Yeah,
huh? All that come up on me. But this is a message to the mothers and the young girls. Stop making your children call everybody daddy. Stop laying your kids between every man you bring home in the bed and laying them in between them. Stop running around here and put your kids on some clothes that impede probably the men from looking at them. Dress your little baby girls is 2, 3, 4, and 5, like they 2, 3, 4, and 5, versus putting them in heels and a tank top and a day's Duke pants. You all need to stop some of the stuff you do to provoke some of these men to look at these little bitty babies.
Wait a minute, let me
So,
stop you right there. Ain't nobody provoke the man. The man shouldn't be looking at a child like that, period. But I understand what you're
but
saying.
yeah, a
Also,
child
ladies,
should
don't
be
be
a child. Some mothers
right.
they put on everything on their kids. It could be a tank top with their belly hanging out, high heel shoes, and I just be like, why? Even I would look and I'd be like, I can't wrap my head around it. And
And I was gonna say,
go ahead.
I was gonna say, and stop bringing everybody you meet around your kids,
Yeah,
boy or girl. It doesn't matter. But nobody provokes a person to look at a child in that way. That shit is just in him to do or her to
and I'm
do.
not talking
And
about just men. I'm
yeah,
talking about there are
I'm
sometimes a
saying him
woman
or
even
her.
will look. And they will be like, "Oh my God!" And I'm not saying look in a provocative way. Even like young girls that are like, you have little girls that are like 10 and they're very shapely, and their mother will know that, but they dress them like they 19. So that's why a lot of girls can get away when they out here having sex at 15 and 14 with these grown ass
When
men,
they
and the men
grow.
don't know because they bodies is like woo woo woo, and these grown ass men be like, oh, she fine though, but she fine though, she got a big ass, she got a this, she got a that, and they blocked it out, and the mama's advertising her.
That's why I said, sometimes when these young men get caught up in that, you know, uh, pedophile thing. He may be 17, she may be 15, because girls do lie about
Right?
their age. They've
They
always lied
lie.
about their age. And that's like even me when I was really, really young, I was always shapely. And I told you that time when I went to the store, I was like 13, and one of my brothers, and my brother's like 11 years older than me, so that made him 24, grabbed my ass and felt it. I was distraught. I came home and told my brothers, and they whooped his ass. I was like, I was coming out of the store, and he grabbed my butt, and they was like, what? They went
What?
right all across
Hmm.
town, found him, and whooped his ass, and that's what they should have done. I've always been one of them kids
Yeah.
that I tell it. I'm gonna tell it on your ass because you're not gonna catch me like that. No. Good night, Jerry. He said that's what's up, and that's right. But yeah, you have to be mindful. Like, you see a lot of people posting their little girls on social media with loose, like she said, with loose swimsuits on. It's like too adult like. Dress them
Right.
appropriate for their ages. You know what I'm saying? And and if a person has a sick mind, they have a sick mind. I don't care
Sick
what the
mind.
child,
Period. That's true.
whatever. But don't take the innocence away from the child by dressing them more provocative than they need to be, and they don't even understand it themselves. It may be cute and all that, but you got to remember, you
Right.
got some damn predators out here just watching this stuff. So
And
be
see your
mindful.
kid every day and look at them
Yeah.
every day and be like, yes, yes, yes. And you're like, no, no, no.
Remember what I told you? I was like, no, don't do that. No, 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 because you got
Yeah.
some sick ass people out here. Period.
And in
Hey,
your mind, you're thinking, this is my child, I'm
it's
proud. But then,
cute.
the realization of it is, it is what it is. And people do have a sick mind.
Mm-hmm.
Hey,
Yep.
kiddo. But yeah, so Y'all just be mindful of those things and be mindful who you bring home. Google some folks. Hell, Google tell you everything nowadays.
I'm telling you, learn a lot. Like I said, Google yourself and you'll see what come on. You find out shit about yourself you didn't even
I
know.
know, right? My address, my date of birth.
Yeah, for real, for real. You do. You find out all types of shit.
Should have
But
died
don't be
if love
popping up.
bird.
I tell you that. Look, I tell you that. Don't be popping up because you're gonna get your feelings hurt. But anywho,
Yeah.
y'all, with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and end this live. We love you guys. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, follow us on Instagram, NaughtyNice22. And y'all, please, please, please go over to our YouTube channel and subscribe because we're gonna be streaming from there very, very soon only. So we really need y'all to do that. And thank you all for the support that you give us all the time. We love y'all. So with that being said, we're gonna tell y'all good night. We love y'all.
Oh, wait. And y'all can send stars on our page.
Oh yeah.
So y'all send stars, send hearts, send love, send whatever. Send them through. This stuff counts. This stuff counts. This stuff counts. But y'all have a good night. This is Shelly Live and V Love Bird. Y'all loving life and loving what we do.
Good night, y'all.
Good night.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're now tuned into Naughty or Nice. Let's go.
Me don't want no fake love, me only want the real deal. Me don't want no fake love, me only want the real deal. Me don't want no fake love, me only want the real deal.
Shelly
Me don't want no
Live
fake love,
and
me only want the real deal.
Have you ever met a sister with her shit together? Maintaining, never complaining, trying to make shit better. She's got a real good life with the right frame of mind. She's the real deal, baby, and she know how to grind. On the job or in the bedroom, baby, the truth. And with her by your side, homeboy, you can't lose. Just slip on the dress and go to work like a pro. Then bring that ass home and drop it down to the floor. Educated, sophisticated, conversation so deep. She's a lady in that world, but a freak in the sheets. Educated, sophisticated, conversation so deep. She's the lady in that world, but a freak in the sheets.
Shelly Live and V Love Bird.
Shelly Live and V Love Bird.
Shelly